unmute yourself, please, whosoever is there. Yeah. Sorry, Naresh. Yeah, over to you.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Deepti, for inviting me, and thanks everyone for helping organize this awesome conference. I know, Deepti, you're doing amazing work in India, so appreciate that. And everyone in your team, again, thanks for putting this together. I heard there are 160 some people.
80.
That's pretty amazing. You know, I'm pretty skeptical generally that you know, people will come to these online events, but you certainly proved me wrong. There are a lot of people, and so that's great to see. All right, I will quickly share my screen and kind of jump into basically what I was asked to present was to kind of give a quick background about you know, Agile Coach Camp and how it came about. So that's kind of what I plan to share. Let me find my slides. All right, hopefully everyone can see my screen. Okay, so I'm going to try and quickly run through everyone through some of the genesis of the Agile Coach Camp, why even have a coach camp, what was the thought process, a brief history behind all the you know, all the people who really influenced and helped us put this together, and some fun facts along the way. So as you probably might know, Deborah Hartman and I partnered to put together the first coach camp. And I'll get into the details of that in a minute. But you know, let's jump in a little bit. So I want to understand a little bit from you guys first, right? Like as coaches, as change agents, as leaders, you know, how do you, you know, how do you basically learn new concepts or skills? How do you get exposed to new ways of thinking? You know, some radical new ideas and so forth. You know, and if you have your own radical ideas, how do you get feedback from other folks before you actually want to try it out, right? You want to, you know, just think through your idea and see what possibly can happen, and you need someone to be a sounding board, or you need someone to give you kind of feedback. So how do you, I know, do that? And what about, you know, brainstorming about particular problems you might be facing? So how do you go about brainstorming that? And finally, how do you re-energize yourself, which I think is very important, as you know, these days are extremely stressful for everyone, and it's very important for us to you know, re-energize. So can I request everyone to please go to your chat windows and basically put in your answer. You know, how do you achieve some of these things today? So I'll just give everyone like 30 seconds to put in their answers to some of these questions. So if you can just type out your answers in the chat window, that would be awesome. Awesome. So a lot of people are responding, saying meetups, conferences, open space, reading books, podcasts, your own network of people that you have. Awesome. Certifications. Love it. Community surfing, blogs, conference, webinars, new tools. Awesome. I'm not going to be able to read everyone's response, but I think you know, everyone's got their very interesting way of trying to answer some of these and find ways around some of these things. So that's really awesome. I'm going to quickly jump back to my slides. So thanks everyone for responding. That's just a quick way to kind of get a sense of how do people do some of these things. Often, at least back then, what we used to find is we used to go to conferences, or we used to go to online forums and so forth, and you would find VS like this, right? People would say, here's a Scrum board, this is how it should be done. And of course, anyone who has basic knowledge of Scrum can say that this is total BS. What we found is over the years at conferences, most people, find these hallway tracks as the way where they actually probably learn and have fun. And if you look at some of these pictures, notice how happy everyone is, because they're really having a interesting, deep conversation with somebody that they want to meet, and somebody that they're trying to understand some of these questions. They get re-energized or any of those things. And I love this picture of my friend Sandeep and Ravi, Balaji. These guys are sitting on the floor in a conference. They don't care what else is happening around them, and they are involved in a very deep conversation around something. Don't know what, but something interesting, hopefully. And this is kind of what got me and Deb thinking. We started thinking that, hey, do people really go to conferences and attend sessions and get most value? Probably yes, there is a percentage and there is a place and value for those sessions as well. But a lot of folks who have been in the community for a while, who are probably at the stage of maybe advanced practitioner, if I can call that, generally don't find a very structured program very helpful. They find these kinds of unstructured conversations very useful. And that's kind of what was one of the main genesis, if you will, behind the Coach Camp. So what we did is we basically put together, this is a snapshot from the Coach Camp wiki, Agile Coach Camp wiki that we have. It's been amazingly running for 12 years now. I don't know how, but it seems to be running, hosted on one of my servers. But anyway, so this wiki basically talks about, what was the rationale behind this conference. And if you'll see, one of the things that we are really trying to highlight here is when we were putting together the Coach Camp, we wanted, taking the Shuha learning analogy, we wanted a space for re-level learning. And generally what we realize is for re-level learning, a lot of learning happens by exploring, reflecting, and co-creating. It doesn't so much happen from a structured presentation or a structured demo. And that was a realization that we had about how a lot of re-level learning takes place. And what we thought was, having a free collaborative open space event would probably be the best way to address some of these needs that folks at an advanced practitioner level would have. And that's why the Coach Camp idea was based on making it free, which means, the conference itself, you don't pay any money to attend. It's highly collaborative because we use an open space format. There is no pre-decided speakers. Everybody comes together, and effectively everybody is a speaker, right? Everybody is presenting at the conference. And, the way we thought, basically to make sure that people who are coming to the conference are the right set of people, we put in a thing called a position paper. So anybody who wants to participate in the conference has to put in a position paper, and that's the price of admission. Basically, that's the fee you pay for getting into the conference. And what we found was, asking people to write a position paper, which is basically take a stake in the ground and say, what do you strongly believe in, and put that out. And that will basically become a good starting point for us to, start conversation and start talking to each other. So this is, of course, it's there on the wiki. You can go read it, the details. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but those are kind of some of the key thought process behind when we put the first coach camp together. And of course, conference, which is basically very transparent in terms of how it's run, and it's also, basically, simplify the way you run it. So as a conference organizer, there's hardly any work you need to put in to put the conference together and keep it very transparent. So that is kind of some of the thought process behind the conference and some objectives that we had when we wanted to create this conference. So let's quickly jump back into a little bit fun fact piece, right? If anybody can put on their chat window, what was the first Agile Coach Camp, what was the date when it was run? If you can put it in your chat window, please. 2007 March, June 2019,
2008.
15th August 2020.
That means nobody actually read what I wrote in the document. It was written on the top. And so, that's why one should not create document. And then if you don't mention in the mail or create document, they say there is no document, there is no information.
500 BC, love that. That's before Corona.
Well,
All right. That's good. So
after you mentioned that, Deepthi, everybody must have rushed to the document to check it out.
that Deepthi is very smart, right? Like that's how she gets people to read the document.
Yeah. So that was a good tip over there for people to go look up the document.
Yeah, do that. I put in time there.
See? And that was a great question, Naresh, because that prompted Deepthi to let people go to the document. So see, the dots connected.
Yeah.
Okay, which was the first city in which the Agile Coach Camp was run? Goa. That was in India. Srikanth, you're right. In India, Goa was the first city in which we ran the coach camp. Yeah, Bala is right. Michigan, but Michigan is a state. So which city? Of course, Ellen knows the answer. She was there. Hi, Ellen. How are you? All right. What was the theme? Now it gets a little trickier. What was the theme of the first coach camp? Every coach camp has a theme. Like this coach camp has a theme about agility, distributed agility, right? So what was the theme of the first coach camp? Pushing the boundaries. Yeah, so pushing the boundaries while keeping Agile simple. That was the theme. So yeah, the quiz time is over. This is just a snapshot again from the wiki, where the main theme of the conference was pushing the boundaries while keeping Agile simple. There was a growing feeling that Agile is getting really complicated. People are trying to bring all kinds of traditional processes and whatnot back into Agile, and making it really complicated and making it really more complex than it needs to be. And also there was a feeling that it seems to be stagnating a little bit. So sorry, there was this notion of pushing the boundaries, where we wanted to explore what are some of the people doing outside the standard 101 stuff, and how are they trying to simplify Agile, right? So what's new, what's missing, what's too complex, what's obsolete, and so that was kind of the idea. So it was May 30th and to June 1st, so May 30th, 31st, June 1st, 2008 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is where the first coach camp was. You could go and look at the wiki. All of those details are there, the sessions, the videos, some of those things are up there for you to look at. All right. Like I mentioned, the way we invited people to the conference was by submitting a position paper. So any guesses how many position papers were received for the first coach camp? 50, 50, 30. It was not that tiny, trust me. Ellen was the last, that's right. All right, someone seems to know how to go to the wiki and find it, so that's awesome. My job of marketing the wiki is done. Cool. All right, so there were 74 position papers that we received, and Ellen, you're right, you were the last one to submit the position papers, so 74th person to submit a position paper. And so these were all the position papers. They're still up there. You can go have a look at the position paper. So everyone who participated in the conference basically put in a position paper and participated in the position paper. Why am I making a big deal about the position paper? Because I think the position paper was a really fascinating way for us to discover each other before we came to the conference. And so most of us actually started knowing each other a little bit because we read their position paper before we came to the conference. And so this is the opening space that right here in the corner, John, who was our facilitator for the open space, fantastic facilitator, did an amazing job of keeping all of us, focused. You will see the big blue wall there behind. That was the wall on which we put up all the topics and stuff like that. So again, this is just a little bit of a glimpse into what the first coach camp looked like. One last trivia question and then I will shut up. How many people do you think traveled from India specifically to attend the first coach camp? How many people traveled from India to attend the coach camp? Well, so I was one for sure. I used to live in India, or I still live in India, so I was one of them. And then there were two other people, so totally three of us actually traveled to Ann Arbor to attend this conference. And we had a whole bunch of people travel from Europe and from other places to come and attend the conference. So of course, North America, a lot of people, but also from Europe, from India. So it was really fascinating. We had a lot of people, completely unexpected, but we did end up with a lot of folks at the first coach camp. This is just a few glimpses of the first coach camp. We started on the Friday evening with a lightning talk. So we had lightning talks to kick off the conference. After that, we all went out for dinner and drinks to socialize. And then we had a lot of fun sessions at the conference. We had Brian Marek. We had a bunch of people who wrote the manifesto at the conference as well. So it was really fascinating to have this kind of mix of people at the conference. And that's just me, ugly old me, trying to do a retrospective, if I'm not mistaken. Let's quickly take the time machine and travel a little back to see, what are some of the things that actually led to the conference, right? So, Deb and I were not the genius who actually came up with this idea of doing a coach camp. I mean, we came up with the idea of coach camp, sorry, but we were not the first people to think about, an open space or an unconference style conference. It actually, at least, and I'm speaking for myself, but it at least started for me when I attended, KitCon, which is the Continuous Integration and Testing Conference, which Paul Julius and Jeffrey Fredericks actually put together. This was in April of 2016 in Chicago. They actually organized the first KitCon. And, I was lucky to attend it. And I was truly, truly blown away. I was blown away that, you could actually have a conference on a deep technical topic with some of the best people out there in the industry and completely self-organize yourself in an open space and conference time. So this was the first experience I had of a coach camp for unconference for a topic like this. And then once I came back, I organized an open space in my company, wherever I was working then, about being good citizens and tribesmen. which was like a company-wide open space that we organized. One of the big challenges that you will often find in companies or organizations that are kind of going through the transformation is either people become like very focused on their teams. They are very doing all the things within their teams, but they don't generally pay too much attention to other teams. And this is where we were trying to bring that awareness that, hey, you need to be good citizens. You need to look at the overall end-to-end, product, and not just your specific, tribe in that sense. So this was like an open space we tried to do. And again, the results were very phenomenal. What we saw, we had a lot of misconceptions, I would say, about why people behave in a certain way. And this open space allowed us to kind of get a glimpse of why people are behaving in a certain way. And so that reinforced my confidence in the power of open space, and how how powerful these open spaces can be to solve hard problems. So inspired by that, I put together a simple design and testing conference. Again, you will see I'm not very creative, so I simply I removed continuous integration, and I just put simple design and testing conference, which is kind of a rip-off on KitCon. But never mind. We put together the first simple design and testing conference, and this is again where position paper was used in the Agile community for the first time, where we tried to use position papers to select people. And again, we had very good response. We went on to do a whole bunch of simple design and testing conferences. I moved back to India. I was based in Bangalore then, and so I got involved with bar camps. If folks are old enough to remember, there was bar camps were a rage from 2004 to up till 2009. So I was involved with a bunch of bar camps in India. Again, the whole idea was, unconference style of conferences. And finally, I think, Deb and I met at, so folks who probably might recognize the picture here is J.B. Reinsberg. So J.B. Reinsberg used to organize conferences, and he put together XP Day Manhattan in 2007, October 2007. And this is, and Deb was kind of the open space facilitator for this conference. I happened to attend the conference, and this is where Deb and I started talking about putting together the coach camp. And that's kind of long story short, but everything that went behind before we agreed that, hey, we should put together a coach camp and started working on the coach camp. There's a whole lot of people who helped us with the conference. And, of course, everyone now knows that, 100 plus of these events have been organized all over the world. Our idea was never to have coach camp as a copyrighted thing that we own. The idea was to let the community own it and run it and let it kind of go viral in that sense. And I'm quite happy today that, independently people have been organizing these coach camps and stuff like that. And again, Agile Alliance has stepped in to kind of encourage people to organize and support them when they organize these coach camps and stuff like that. So overall, I think it's been a fantastic journey in my opinion, and the journey would hopefully continue. So with that, I would say, enjoy your coach camp. The thought I want to leave you with is basically sometimes you find yourself in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes in the middle of nowhere you find yourself. That's kind of the feeling that a lot of people have when they attend the coach camp. And basically it's a, I want to welcome you to escape to the unknown, right? So that the adventure can begin, and then you wouldn't want to go back to anything else, and you probably would say you don't need no therapy, you just need camping. So that's pretty much it from my side. Love